Okay, this is Monday, July 29th, 2019, and it's been over a year since I had laid eyes on my little girl, Dilara. She's 10 and a half, and I went to her school tonight. They had kind of like an open house, and I didn't know she'd be there or not, but even if she wasn't, I wanted to be there and learn about her new school and hopefully meet her teachers. And so it was like 5 to 6:30, I think, and I got there at 5, and I recorded the whole thing. Very, it's good audio. So I got there first, and about 15 minutes, I went to the cafeteria where the parents were supposed to be. The parents were going to have their orientation or whatever in the cafeteria, and then the kids were going to go by themselves to their classrooms. So, I was just hoping I'd see her, and after I'd been there about 15 minutes, I saw Dilara's dad come in, and Dilara right next to him. She's tall. Her hair was very short, kind of like her sister Callie's got totally bobbed off. I mean, Dilara's hair's never been that short. And maybe a little asymmetrical, but and she looked really pretty. She was dressed nicer than I saw her dressed last year. She might be taller than me now, but here's what happened. So I saw them come in, and when I saw them walking to sit down, I said, Dilara. I did not approach Dilara's father. I did not try to make contact with Dilara's father. I was there first, so I didn't know what was going to happen. My best case scenario, which I was hoping would happen, is we would all get to participate in this open house like normal people. So Dilara's dad sat down, and she sat down next to her, because she didn't hear me say Dilara. And then I went up to her, and then she saw me, and then she turned, poked her dad because he was looking in the other way, and I took her hand, and she stood up and she hugged me, and I kind of think she might be taller than me, because it kind of felt like she kind of had to bend down a little bit to hug my neck, so her little head was right here, and I held her, and then her dad got up and said, I think he says, you have to leave or I'll call the police. And I had whispered to Dilara, have you seen Callie? And I think she said she hadn't seen her in a long time. Last time she saw her was in December. And I told her, you don't have to leave, just act normal. And we could have done that. We could have done that. And I wasn't looking to have a confrontation or make a scene. I just wanted to act like normal parents there for open house. They call it a sneak peek for the 5th graders. It's a totally new school. So he took Dilara and left. I assumed he was going to look for security guards or principal or something. So I went back where I had been sitting, the farthest row back. And I figured that was all the contact I was going to have with her, but I would still be able to learn about the school and the teachers and stuff. So a few minutes later, the principal, he came back in without Dilara, and he probably just sat her out in the hall and told her to stay out there. And the principal came up, and she says, my ex-mother-in-law is running against you, Sherry Jones. Dr. Jones is the principal at H.G. Hills Middle School, and she was very nice. And I don't know what Dilara's dad said. I had to be 500 feet away from him or something. But so I went in the office, and she looked at the paperwork, and I did. Last thing I did not want to cause a scene or make anybody's life difficult. And I won. I won because I got to put my arms around my little girl. She knows I have not abandoned her. So that's good. I got what, that's really the best I could hope for, is to let her see me and let her feel my arms around her. And she did give me a good hug. But her dad, oh, he was mad. He was he was infuriated, but he maintained his composure. Apparently he wasn't expecting to see me. He wasn't prepared. And when he saw me, he just was enraged. And, but I was just, just cool, and I just told Dilara, just act normal, And, so I went to the principal's office, talked with her. She's divorced from Sherry Jones's son. She's got one child herself. She was nice. She thanked me for being civil and understanding, but she told me that she told me she has to enforce any court orders. And I think that's messed up, because the restraining order, I went to the school. I went to the school, like the open house tonight. So, yeah, the restraining order's on me. So I don't understand why people act like they're being restrained, because they're not. They're not even parties to this case. So what's going to happen? And I told her, I said, I got to get through the election. She said, she asked about the court case, and I said, it's in appeals right now, and after the election, I'm going to pick it back up and probably file some new paperwork. I need to get that order of protection dissolved. He's done nothing. Back in October, when I got arrested in October, and based the probable cause to have me arrested and me spend 6 days in jail before I could get a bond hearing and get out on my own recognizance, was that he believed I was at a playground at the same time he was. And first of all, I wasn't there. Second of all, just me being at a playground, I'm not. He's been in close proximity with me in court. I don't approach him. And tonight he's the one that approached me and threatened me. So, but he might try to have me arrested for violating order of protection. Again, I've still got two ridiculous, two bogus charges outstanding from being arrested in October. I don't know where my speedy trial is supposed to be. They just have this hanging over my head. I'm probably going to be too busy I got my hug and that sort of, and I gave her, she knows and I told the principal that, I told last year, I said, I wasn't going to see her for a long time. I didn't know how long it was going to be, but even if I didn't see her till she's 18, to be good and learn all she could and enjoy everything she can. And no, I didn't get to say hardly anything to her. I gave her a hug. I don't even know if I told her I loved her or goodbye, but she had my arms around her. I don't know. We'll see, but we'll see if I get arrested. See, I've got these two charges pending that have been pending for all these months, because I'm waiting to see if I get indicted for a jury trial. And I just feel like the more people I can tell what's going on to my little girl, and who knows how many other kids like her that are victims of it's domestic violence by proxy. What he's done to me is it's emotional abuse. Oh, there was that reminds me, in today's Tennessean, protection order gray area leads to delay problems. So this is about, so the orders of protection are in here. And I did tell Dr. Jones, Sherry Jones's ex-daughter-in-law, That's funny that she's the principal of Dilara's school. But I told her that I had spoken to Sherry when Sherry was the state representative years ago. And at first, she did answer my emails, unless it was her assistant. And I even thought she might be interested enough to come and do some court watching in my case, because she's supposed to be so interested in domestic violence issues and children's issues. And she ended up doing, and I don't know what she can do. She may not be able to do anything in my case, but she can make herself aware that orders of protection are abused, and they're used to hurt children, like my daughter. And so if she's such a big child advocate, why and I said that the order of protection against me was based on false allegations. I've never been able to get any relief from the DA. And see, that's one thing. Yeah, just arrest me again. Please. Arrest me again. And let's see how badly this court system in Davidson County can fail. And I'll tell you what really ticks me off is there in Hermitage, you've got all those people rallying around that father and child, keeping that father and child together. Nobody's done anything at all. I mean, there's been recommendations by expert witnesses in court, which Judge Sheila Calloway has ignored. She still got my appeal stalled. She's still refusing to allow the Court of Appeals to see and consider the evidence that my lawyers properly admitted in her courtroom, which she ignored and which contradict her findings of fact. That's Judge Sheila Calloway, juvenile court judge, Davidson County, Nashville, Tennessee. And that's really bad that a judge would do that. And most people in child custody cases, they act like, oh, best interest of the child or whatever. But if you end up in court, the person who wins will be the person who lies the most or who outmaneuvers the other person. I can't stand this adversarial system, family court system, and the way they treat children like pawns and property and prizes to be won. They shouldn't do it. Courts should uphold the law. The court never had any jurisdiction to interfere in my relationship with my daughter because they're forbidden to do that unless there's a show of harm. That's what the law says. Parental rights are supposed to be very, very strongly protected in Tennessee, and they are not. When you've got a judge who, I don't know what her problem is, but I do know that she knows what adverse childhood experiences are, and because I've seen that they've had this training, she knows, and Mayor Briley issued this proclamation May 14th about adverse childhood experiences, and Judge Sheila Calloway has maintained my daughter in a unhealthy situation. This is court-ordered child abuse. I've never harmed my daughter. I've never endangered my daughter. She was flourishing, by all accounts, when she was enjoying shared parenting between her, and had both parents in her life in a meaningful way, her brother, her sister, uncles, aunt, friends. And Judge Phillip Robinson is the first person who issued that order of protection. But Judge Sheila Calloway she's never done one thing to restore Dilara's constitutionally protected right to associate with family. So let me see this. And you know what? I asked her to recuse herself. She insists she's not biased. What if you look at the law in my case that she's ignoring? If you look at the facts, the evidence that she's ignoring, I don't know how anybody can say that she's not biased. And what is this with her refusing to allow the Court of Appeals to see the evidence that will get her overturned and will get my parental rights restored and get Dilara both parents in her life again? It's really sick. And I would love to know how many other people in Davidson County have been cut off from their family like this. So it's not just bias. Oh yeah, see, the way the court system is, because people like, well, don't, you got to follow the orders. Don't, you don't want to go to jail, and it doesn't help anything if you get arrested, and do what they tell you to, and maybe you'll get to see your daughter. Well, I just saw my daughter tonight. That's not, she needs more than to just see me. But yeah, I'm interested in this, this protection order is what it is. It says the State's Domestic Abuse Act. Well, it's something like if somebody that you have order protection against wants to get discovery, and that could take several months, then you might not get your permanent order protection for a long time. But being able to get discovery in there should be protecting everybody. It's crazy. Those orders of protection, this is the opposite of what's being done in my case with the order of protection, is the opposite of what an order of protection is meant to do. An order of protection is meant to protect people. And Dilara's dad feels harassed because he wants me to walk out of my daughter's life completely and forever, and I won't do it. So that annoys him and makes him feel harassed. So he always wants, 5 times I've been arrested on order of protection violations, I think. And I never violated it. I never violated the order of protection in his and I've been acquitted a bunch of times, and yeah, I've still got these 2 charges hanging over my head, but it's unreal. And Sherry Jones, I don't know what she's done. She's like, oh, I've done all this, I've done all that. Oh, look at me. I got endorsements. I was a CASA. Well, a CASA, we had a CASA, and CASA's, I don't like CASA. I don't like strangers coming into my life and overriding my parental decisions when the court doesn't have any business interfering in the first place. The CASAs are not lawyers, and the DCS, people who make recommendations to the court, they don't care, like the expert witnesses, even though the expert witnesses did say Dilara needs to be seeing me. She needs to have a balanced relationship with her parents. She needs both of us in her life in a meaningful way. And the Judge Calloway seemed to not have heard that. She might have been texting somebody on her phone or doing some online shopping or whatever she was doing, instead of listening for something that would give her a reason to follow the law. Oh, yeah, he doesn't follow orders. So he commits perjury, gets away with it. He refuses to... I did get to see Dilara just for like 20 seconds, had my arms around her. She's huge, huger than last year. Her hair is very short, like my daughter Callie's, except it looked like she had a little long, asymmetrical thing going on. Dilara did, and she looked better groomed than last year. And but she was surprised to see me, and I think she was glad. All right, I have to call my friend back. Yeah, I don't think he'll try to have. Sometimes I have. Sometimes I'm like, oh, because he knows that's the only way to get rid of me, and even if a jury found me guilty of violating the order of protection, I don't think I would spend 11 months and 29 days in jail. I hope it made her next several weeks or a few months, because I wanted to, I wanted to be supportive of her in her new school. I wanted to be there for her. I want her to have a good school year. So, but for anybody to, I don't know what people think they would do in my situation where I cannot get justice. We're talking about, oh, what can we do to make Nashville a more equitable city? Well, for one thing, you can make sure people have equal justice under law, and that's not happening. And that's not one of my it's not my platform, but I've been fighting the judicial accountability for years. It's just incredible. But yeah, so when I hear about in Hermitage, the ICE people went to arrest, I don't know what they were trying, arrest the, phone.